This is 3 Minutes Inside Torah. This week's Parsha contains the last of the 10 plagues. The killing of the firstborn, which took place on the first night of Passover, is the climactic finale of the plagues and which caused the Egyptians to drive the Jews out of Egypt. Aside from being the final plague, it has other unique aspects not found by any of the previous plagues. First, Moses tells Pharaoh the exact time of its arrival, at midnight. No other plague was given a specific time of day. Additionally, the Jews had to place blood on their doorposts. It was this sign God famously passed over, sparing the Jewish firstborn. Why was this plague different from all other plagues? What is the significance of its specific timing? And why did the Jews need a special sign? The Lubavitcher Rebbe explains that the 9 preceding plagues were not intended to kill anyone, but rather to keep the Egyptians alive to witness God's omnipotence and authority. The plague of killing the firstborn, however, was lethal, leaving its victims unable to internalize the message. Instead, the 10th plague was sent as a punishment for idol worship. But God's punishment is aligned with justice, and since the Jews in Egypt were also steeped in idolatry, they were an equal target of the plague as well. If so, how would blood on their doorposts counter justice's claim that the Jews are guilty too? The Rebbe teaches that the plague was brought about from a divine light whose source was higher than all of creation, higher than justice, higher than right and wrong or good and bad, from a place where God's love for the Jewish people transcends all logic and reason. And this is why the plague happened exactly at midnight, the midpoint between two halves. The first half of the night signifies strict judgment, every moment continuously getting darker and darker, until the second half, which signifies loving kindness, with each passing moment getting lighter and lighter until dawn. The point which merges these two opposites must come from something higher and which transcends this dichotomy. It was precisely at this time that a supernal light higher than justice descended. This light would spare the Jews, even though they were just as guilty of idol worship as the Egyptians. Then why the need for the sign? The Rebbe explains that revelation of divine light always requires human effort to draw down that light. Since this light was from a place beyond reason and rationale, a corresponding action was necessary. The blood that the Jews put on their doorposts was a mixture made from blood of the paschal sacrifice and blood from circumcision. The Jews were not circumcised while enslaved in Egypt, but prior to the Exodus, there was a mass circumcision. Circumcision, typically performed on an 8-day old baby who has no intelligence or capacity to reason, represents an act which is super-rational or beyond reason. The other blood came from slaughtering the paschal lamb. To ancient Egyptians, sheep were a physical representation of God in the world. Taking the Egyptian god, publicly slaughtering and barbecuing it was a veritable suicide mission. The Jews' self sacrifice in the face of their Egyptian taskmasters went contrary to all reason and logic. The blood on the doorpost, a sign which transcended rationality, triggered the plague of the firstborn and initiated the long awaited exodus from Egypt, signifying God's everlasting and completely inexplicable love for the Jewish people.